Welcome to the Conigliaro Insight Podcast, where we give opinions and insight on all topics galore. I'm Keegan. Welcome to episode number 2 of season 1, which is all about motivation and inspiration. So last episode, I had my longtime friend Marius Eriksson here on the show, and we went into detail about what motivates each of us in our everyday lives. And Marius also went into his fitness journey that he has been on for 3 years now. And I'm very glad to have him back on the podcast today. So Marius, thank you so much for being on the podcast again today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to give him a special shout out because he is now an official affiliate for Mentality. So Marius, congratulations to you on
Thanks.
that. So do you want to explain real quick what Mentality is, like what the company is?
Yeah, so it's basically like a brand of like clothing, like flags, even like hoodies too, and like just some like little things like water bottles even now. But it's basically all like kind of like a thing because of their image and like for people that like work out, and that's really like the kind of audience that it's targeted towards.
Yeah, nice. And they also have like wristbands like I have on my wrist right here. It says hard work and God's work, which Marius did give me for Christmas. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
And it has like basically like everyday t-shirts, right? Everyday t-shirts, compression shorts like for working out. Does it have any bags, like any backpacks or like string bags, or is it just clothing?
They do have backpacks, but I think they're pretty big actually. I don't have one because they're really expensive, but yeah, I think those are like the only backpacks as far as like for all that stuff goes. That's what I've seen at least so far. But who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they might release some in the future. Just depends.
Right, yeah. And I think it's 100% worth the money. Would you say so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it. And we see the flag in the back there. So go check out Mentality. It's a great company for any workout clothes, like everyday clothes, flags, wristbands, any of that stuff. Go check it out. It's an amazing company. So real quick before we get into today's episode, I hope that everyone out there is doing well. Make sure to take care of yourselves. I love every single one of you guys. Marius loves every single one of you guys as well. Just know that you're loved by everyone, and make sure to keep the smiles on your faces. And if you're not doing as well, I really hope that this podcast cheers you up. Again, love you guys. Marius loves you guys. So let's get down to business, shall we? Today's topic at hand is going to be about dealing with negativity on social media. So what we're going to do today is Marius and I are going to both give some tips to dealing with negativity on social media. So, Marius, since you're the guest on the show, I'll let you do the honors. What's your first tip with dealing with negativity?
Okay, so my first one is to not compare yourself to others online. Like that's just like a big one. How like everyone else has their image online. Like it's just kind of like its own reality, but like you don't really want to listen to because that's not exactly like what really goes on in the world. So, and that can just make you feel bad and be really deceiving and maybe even take down your self-esteem. So I think just don't let that get to you long term.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I think to piggyback off of that, I really think that it's just not worth your time. What would you say?
Yeah, it's not worth it at all.
Yeah, it's also not worth mental health either because you just don't want to compare yourself. You want to be you. That's simple as that, right? That's what it should be.
Yeah, like just don't let it yeah.
Yeah, I really go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's just mentally degrading, and like just don't let it get to you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So that was a really good one. So my first one is having a mindset of knowing that people are going to be negative because they're all around. I mean, you can't stop them. It's just virtually impossible. So by knowing that people are going to be negative, I think it really helps in the aspect of not worrying about basically what others say, if that makes sense. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Just don't let that get to you. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, don't let it get to you. It's also not worth the time. Like I think every single one is like every single one of these tips that we're going to say is definitely all about not worth your time. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your second tip that you have?
Okay, so for my second one, I said that like just spend less time watching what others do and focus on yourself because kind of like going off my first tip, just don't let like what everyone else does online, like just kind of like get to you, because
Hmm.
it's just like I said, it's not worth it, and just like don't watch it, and it'll make you feel better over time. Like just don't like be experiencing those negative conversations and arguments because it's not worth your time. And yeah, just don't look at those at all. Like just don't
Yeah,
read the comments online either. Just don't do that.
yeah, absolutely. And now I will say that I have seen, especially TikTok accounts that like their account is all about responding to negativity. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that on TikTok before?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. It's all like I know this one guy, I can't remember what his name is, but he basically responds to any negative comment, like like good and bad, but a lot of the stuff that I see on my feed is negativity. But I mean, that's what he does. I mean, but I wouldn't do it because I don't have the time for it. It's also not worth mental health, like I said earlier.
Right. Yeah, it's not worth
Yeah.
it. Just
Yeah,
take care
you
of
just
yourself,
scroll past
basically.
it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just scroll past it, move on. That's kind of how you should approach it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that was a great one. So my next one is basically the exact same thing is scroll past the negativity. Basically just so that way you don't get worked up about it. And the reason why I say that is because commenters on post, they're going to have their opinions, and no matter if you're telling the truth, any of that stuff, their opinion's probably most likely it could. I mean, hypothetically, maybe it could change, but most of the time, it's never going to change. They're going to just be ignorant and say whatever they want to say. It's just that's their opinion. It's simple as that. What would you say?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, because like people like will see something you might have said that even if it's true, they might not even like want to believe it because it's true, and they just like, hate
Hmm.
it. So they're gonna try to like kind of like fight you and argue about it, like say in
Yeah,
comments. So yeah, I would just say try to ignore that if you can in any way possible, and
absolutely.
don't
I
respond to
100%
it.
agree. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great right there. So, what's your next tip that you have?
Okay, so my next tip would be to spread positivity like in any way, the energy, like where people want to hear it, like so like that
Yeah.
would mean post inspiring content, places, and positive thoughts, and encourage others to do so. And that would probably be the best option there because that way there's like no negativity at all in this, and yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that's I love that right there. Spreading positivity is what you want to do. You never want to spread any negativity because it's not worth it. Like who really wants to go on social media and see everything negative, right? Like you've got to have positivity most of the way. Like luckily for me on like social media platforms there is a bunch of positivity, but on TikTok there's not as much. What would you say?
Right. Yeah. Like on that app is just it's sort of diverse. You can say anything you want, just like other social media platforms, and you just got to kind of
Hmm.
filter it out and just not look at things that are negative. Don't read the comments, like I said.
Yep.
Yeah, just don't focus on that. Just look for the positivity, and that should help boost your overall like mood and everything.
Yeah, self-esteem too, right? What would you
Right.
say about that?
Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be one too.
self-esteem is very, very important when it comes to posting on social media because you want to have all the confidence in the world.
Right.
Yeah, so that was a great one there. So my last one that I have is be around a supportive community because you always want to have confidence, like I just said, like what we both had just said. And also you want to kind of know that you're in the driver's seat and other people's opinions don't really matter in the sense of when you're dealing with negativity. Not, I mean, obviously everyone's opinion matters, but when you have someone that's commenting stuff that's like bullying you on social media, harassing you, any negative thing, just stick away from that. You always want to find those people that are very supportive of you. What would you say about
Right.
that?
Yeah, I think just yeah, just being in like a community where just everyone's supportive, that'll definitely be like probably your best option there because there's like no room for negativity at all, and you'll just be happy overall, and that's what you want.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was great right there. And I would also kind of say, like, as a bonus, you obviously want to tell the facts, like we had just told about earlier, and you also want to report any harassment because who wants to have those negative people on social media? It's not worth it, in my opinion, at all.
Yeah, it's just not worth your time at all.
Yeah. And I would say if we can take away anything from what we had both said, I would definitely say be around a supportive community and spread positivity. What would you say?
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Yeah, just try to like shield yourself from the negativity. Don't read the comments. Just don't engage in it. Yeah, I think that's just to name a few of things you can do. Just yeah, just don't compare yourself to others. Basically, all those tips that we just said, I think would be a great way to tie it all together. If
Yeah.
you just yeah, just don't want to be around that negativity. Just don't do it.
Right. And I would also kind of say, like, it's also very important because people always have the I'm right, you're wrong mentality. Like, you've seen stuff on TikTok about, like, people that comment hate and they're self-entitled.
Right.
And I would also say that a lot of people take everything out of context. What would you say?
Yeah, there can be like a lot of things left out, and information that someone may say that you might not even see, or they'll just like think of it in a different way that you may not have even said. So they might, like start up an argument just because of that, even when that's maybe not even something you said. So I think that really does matter in that term.
Right. Yeah. And it is sad to see that a lot of people do take everything out of context because a lot of it's just not true.
Right.
And they're also spreading a bunch of misinformation. I see that a lot. I've seen it a lot on Twitter for sure. Instagram kind of just like feeds off, I guess, because a lot of stuff that I see on Twitter is also on Instagram too, like tweets, like pictures of tweets. You've seen that on Instagram before.
Yeah.
On Twitter, there's a bunch of misleading reports. I've seen that a lot. TikTok, when people take those reports and explain them themselves, they take a lot of shit out of context. It's really sad to see. But in my opinion, like we had both said, as long as you spread positivity, make sure you tell the facts, and just be around a supportive community. I think it's very important. So I think that really ties everything together. So Marius, thank you so much again for being on the podcast. I really appreciate you telling your tips on dealing with negativity on social media. So again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations to you again for being an affiliate for Mentality. I think that's awesome. And everyone, again, go buy stuff for Mentality. It is a great company. Go follow them on Twitter. Do they have an Instagram as well?
Yeah, they do, and I think that's like their
Yeah.
main like platform that they use. So yeah, go
That's
follow
what I
that
figured
one.
because I've seen a lot of stuff on their Instagram, but they have a bunch of great quotes on Twitter that you can go by your everyday life. So go check them out. And if you like this episode, do us a favor and rate us on Apple Podcasts. You can rate from 1 star to 5 stars. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, and share it with anyone that you can share with. And you can also follow the podcast on Instagram at Conigliaro Insight Podcast, and you can even tell about what tips you guys have for dealing with negativity on social media. And remember to tune in every single Sunday for new episodes. You can listen in on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and Spotify, and you can also watch every single episode right here as a video on YouTube. So, until the next episode of the Conigliaro Insight Podcast, remember to take care of yourselves, do the things that you enjoy in your life, love one another. I love every single one of you guys. Have an amazing day, everyone. Cheers.